Hi folks, welcome to CNB. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Partnkar. Brand new episode, but a car that you've seen before, that is the Toyota Camry. Now, there's a reason we brought it here, of course, and it's the segment as a whole that's not as hot as it used to be 2 years ago, right? Well, it doesn't help that car makers are only bringing in petrol-only cars, though Toyota says that the Camry is already picking up a fair amount of traction in the market. Now, what about the fact that it is petrol-only? Well, that means it only has one real major rival. And that, of course, is a car that we have right here. It is also a petrol-only offering, the Sonata from Hyundai.
Well, they're saying a mere 5 rupee price increase in diesel prices will have them flocking back to petrol models anyway, aren't they? Well, fickle as that sounds, the truth is that there is more on offer at the petrol end of things in this space. The Honda Accord ruled the roost for years before crashing down in flames, metaphorically speaking, of course. And now you have the very stylish and sexy Sonata, as well as the luxurious and opulent Camry, looking to earn that crown. Hyundai's problem has always been trying to capture any share of the larger cars. The new 5th generation Elantra, though, we are told, is racking up some pretty good numbers, which bodes well for big sister Sonata too, which has seen some interest, no doubt. The 7th generation Toyota Camry, on the other hand, is large, stately, and everything a saloon wants to be. Comfortable and spacious, well appointed and attractive. Well, attractive enough anyway.
Now, I know that looks are purely subjective, but for me, in the styling department, hands down winner. The Sonata, I mean, just look at it. It's got that whole fluidic sculpture thing going on, sharp line around the side, very inspired by BMW. But we've talked about all of these things, haven't we? And the car looks agile, looks very sexy, very contemporary and modern. Even in the face, the way the front grille has been done, while it is sporty, it is also fairly upmarket with all that chrome. Now, speaking of chrome, this is very upmarket too, and I think that's the intention from Toyota. The idea is to, in fact, try and go really sort of swanky with this car. And so, if not the face, you definitely get to see that on the side, because the car is literally huge and it implies that size too.
And so they are indeed different. The battle would have been even and more obvious if Toyota had indeed brought us the US version of the Camry, as it had done in the past with the previous 2 generations. Called a mid-size sedan in America, the Camry competes for volume and not necessarily for style or class alone.
So you remember it was just a few weeks ago that we showed you the brand new Camry from Toyota in the Indian market, and at the time I told you it's the same platform, but it's a little bit different to the Camry that has been launched in the US a few months ago. Well, guess what? We're actually going to show you the US Camry really quickly, just to emphasize where it's different. The face, of course, instantly tells you it's different. Now, this car looks a lot more like perhaps a grown-up or a bigger version of the Corolla. It has a similar sort of a stance in front, a lot sportier looking really if you think about it, and the headlamp cluster, lots of chrome in the front grille. Of course, the blue Toyota logo tells you that this one is the hybrid as well that I'm driving today. But that's not the point I want to talk about. It's the styling really. At the side, it's pretty much Camry territory, not very different, similar sort of a wheelbase. But again, when you come to the back, you'll once again pick up hints of not just the old Camry, but again the Corolla family. So it's a little sportier, it's more compact, it's not as luxurious or as well laid out as the one that we get. Remember, the whole focus of the one we get now is to be more luxurious. And so this one, a mid-size car here in the US, not a full size as we call it. And so it is just about being practical, easy to use, convenient, and just a all-round family car, not really a luxury offering. Thought we'll just show it to you.
So in India, what we see is more Lexus LS-like in terms of styling, with a different kind of focus from the American Camry. The Indian Camry wants to get the attention of the CEO, the successful entrepreneur, or indeed even a housewife, basically anyone who wants to be driven around in style.
I very reluctantly got into the back seat here because that is the kind of target consumer for Toyota, if you will. And so I have to say that it is a nice opulent sort of a feel at the back, nice big drop down armrest, good materials, colors, all of that works. It's not the most comfortable seat, but overall, you've got a lot of space, and I think that focus definitely comes through. Now, having said that, it's not as if the car isn't good to drive. It's a nice car to drive. It actually is fairly powerful, and even though there is no manual option, the automatic transmission, again, it's a new upgraded transmission, and it is definitely smoother. And in fact, smooth is the kind of sense you get really from this car, because when you're driving it in city traffic, it's quite all right too, but it really comes alive on the highway. It's very smooth, very fast, very quick sort of a car, and it's the suspension settings that the engineers have worked on. I think that work really comes through, because the car seems to really glide whichever seat you're sitting in.
It's a very different character that emerges when you drive this car next. And this one has to be driven. The Sonata is one of the strong rivals for the Camry in the US too, though it doesn't match the kind of volumes Toyota gets due to the popularity of the hybrid Camry. And the Sonata is also seen as a value offering and isn't as feature loaded as the one we get in India.
Now, the past Sonatas, by comparison, used to be pretty indifferent and pretty soft as well, because this car is most definitely a driver's car, and I think it's been designed as such. It's a USP that certainly stands out, and I think it helps it in a sense, because it's one of the few cars in this segment that can really boast of those kind of credentials. Now, I know that's not important in our market. In our market, most people are going to be back there. Now, this car caters to that as well by, throwing in a few goodies like ventilated seats, etc. So that will get some people's imagination, but I firmly believe that this car needs to be driven. This is the correct seat to be sitting in, and it's why it does well in markets like the United States. Handling is pretty decent, power and performance is really good, and that 6-speed manual gearbox, what a pleasure.
So it's fun and fairly sporty. Fatter tires would have helped, but on the whole I have to admit the car surprises. Now, the last gen Sonata was also not bad to drive, but this one seems to entice you with its design appeal and sways opinion somewhat more strongly in its favor as a result. I do believe Hyundai has lost a golden opportunity though to also launch some entry-level variants like it offers in the US. Offer this car at 16.5 or 17 lakh rupees and you'd give even the Jettas and Corollas a run for their money. But Hyundai seems content with flagship status rather than volumes for the Sonata in India, which is why perhaps there's no diesel too. Toyota too seems to think similarly, because the one variant on the Camry is all bells and whistles. The only downer for me is that while the touchscreen multimedia interface is feature-rich, it looks a bit gimmicky and aftermarket. But it is the same on the US Camry too, so it's not a for India only item. A sunroof would have been a nice touch too, but the instrument cluster, steering controls, the use of wood and the color palette certainly make this very appealing, especially to Indian buyers. I do believe we will see more variants of the Camry later, and that could even include the hybrid way down the line. So the Sonata is for the young-hearted who want to scream sexy and yet enjoy the trappings this segment is known for, while the Camry is undoubtedly the sedan to have if you want to pull up in stately elegance and comfort.
Now, what if these cars weren't really doing it for you? What if they weren't hot enough to really get your imagination going? Well, I know the segment's crowded, but then there's that one product that still sort of stands out as being quite the segment stalwart still. It's been really popular, it's been a bestseller, and it has to be a car like the Skoda Superb then that you fall back on.
Yep, the Superb has been the crowd favorite up until recently. What's not to like? Well engineered, with a fun TSI petrol or TDI diesel option, manual or DSG gearbox, and decent levels of ride, handling and comfort. But its cabin does need some upgrading, and that should happen with the facelift, which will come in 2013 anyway. No such problems though for its swankier diesel-only cousin, the Volkswagen Passat. The car is very contemporary and delivers on style and sophistication, complete with LED daytime running lights. It is also feature-rich but comes across as a bit pricey and therefore unattainable to some buyers. Again, the US Passat is a more basic car by comparison, and it's not even the same platform anymore anyway. The Nissan Tiana has been a fringe player at best, and Honda should seriously reconsider the stepchild treatment it's planning to give the Accord and instead look to get a little bit more aggressive with what's a fairly capable and well-loved product. So lots to choose from, but if you're not hung up on an oil burner, I reckon the two options that naturally stand apart are the Sonata and the Camry. And when it comes to pampering yourself with a balanced blend of features, design, space, luxury and good ride, the Camry noses just ahead. Though bring in the value card and the Sonata still takes it home.
So the volumes may have shrunk just a bit in that space, but it remains a highly competitive segment nonetheless. And remember, you still have the luxury sedans that also come into the picture here. Cars like the new BMW 3 Series, very much part of that space too. Now, I've completely changed location. You can see I'm no longer on the open road and I'm inside what appears to be an auditorium. Well, it is one. And in fact, we're at the Delhi Technological University. Everybody back there looks like they're giving some sort of an exam. I'll explain what I'm doing here and what they are doing as well after a short break. And in fact, we also have the new Scala from Renault that's coming up on the program. So stay tuned to CMB. Welcome back to CNB. Now, I promised to tell you where I am, and it of course is the DTU campus. The reason I'm here is for the Mahindra AQ. Now, every year we of course go out to different college campuses all across the country. We've increased that number this time, got a lot more participation as well, which makes us really excited, and that process is now underway. So all the city rounds, they've already started. Some of you have been following those tweets as well, I know, and right now we're at the round here for the engineering students in Delhi, and I can tell you it's going to be pretty intense because a few days ago I was at another round in Mumbai as well, and the competition, just the overall level has really increased. So I can't wait to get this started while we of course get organized. And as you can see, all our teams here, the finalists who've been selected, they're already seated and we are raring to go. But before we get started, I want to quickly give you that promised review of the Renault Scala as well. Now, of course, for the most part, it is just a rebadge Nissan Sunny. So does it really achieve more than that? Let's find out.
It's Renault's 5th launch in India. Not bad, eh? Given that the brand's not been here that long. The Fluence and Colliers came last year. And this year we've got the Pulse, the Duster, and now the Scala. The nameplate Scala comes from the Renault global lineup, though the car, which sells in Mexico, is more akin to the Renault Samsung SM3, or what we know more as the predecessor to the Fluence.
I'll tell you what, this Cinderella has met her fairy godmother. take a look at the face. It's just so much better than what you've seen on the Nissan Sunny. The car looks more proportionate up front. The bulbous, almost too large headlamps have become so much more attractive. They get sort of hemmed in by this nice chrome treatment. The front grille, nice and butch. It's just like the Pulse, of course, so it's not like you haven't seen it, but a lot more European, a lot more Renault as well. They managed to achieve all of that. So kudos to the fairy godmother, which is of course Renault's design team in Mumbai. Along the side is where you realize that this Cinderella wasn't that pretty to begin with, so you can doll her up a little bit, but you know what, she's still going to look a little bit disproportionate because, well, it is just like the Nissan Sunny on the sides. The car looks a little too stretched in the middle, and of course that is the Micra platform that's getting that extra wheelbase, gives you tons of space on the inside. That is the big USP. All of this is common to the Sunny, so I don't need to repeat this. So larger tires may have looked nicer too though. Now at the back is where again the Scala tends to look a lot better than the Sunny because remember how I always said it's a very bulbous, very odd shaped, very stretched sort of a boot? Well, this one is a lot more attractive. The nice big thick strip of chrome is actually complementary in this case. I like the way it's been done. Scala has of course been embossed into that, somewhat like the Fluence, nice and stretched. And this treatment, some people are calling it very Mercedes-like. I'm calling it a little bit Skoda-like, the C-shaped rear tail light. But you know what? It works. It looks nice. It makes the car look a lot more contemporary as well, and not as heavy from the rear. So definitely better looking than the Sunny. Perhaps still a little weird looking in terms of proportion when you compare to the competition.
But the Sunny has proved that looks don't always matter. It's comfort and practicality that do. And so the extra stretch to the C platform has indeed been a hit. The Sunny is sold in other markets like the US too now, and rather successfully, we might add. The Scala is available in petrol and diesel with an automatic CVT option expected on the petrol within a few months. The specs look familiar and fairly ample, and in fact the whole experience reminds one too much of the Sunny.
It's a little bit noisy in this cabin. That's thanks to the 1.5 DCI motor. But you know what? It's again similar territory to the Sunny, so I won't get repetitive. Handling could have been a whole lot better if we had fatter tires on this car. But don't forget, fuel efficiency is a big priority for the company to sort of tom-tom. Now, the whole issue here for me is that while this car seems to be a little bit of an improvement on the Sunny in terms of, looks, it still carries through all the USPs in terms of space, etc. The part which I don't understand is the strategy on pricing.
Yes, okay, so it's a bit unfair to compare variants which aren't exactly specced out. But at first glance, the Scala comes off looking a little bit pricey, doesn't it? Especially considering the fact that the engines on both are identical, and it's not like the Scala is giving you greater power or higher mileage. And nor are the interiors any more plush. At the high end, you get the same climate control system, the same start, stop and keyless system, a similar music system, and the same air recirculation fan with vents for rear passengers. Of course, other attributes like the enormous rear legroom and fairly comfy seats are a welcome and inevitable carryover from the Sunny as well. Heck, even the colors the two cars are available in are very similar. So all in all, the Scala is a formidable enough car on its own, and it will manage to create some noise over the more compact Rapid or Fiesta. But like with the Pulse and the Micra, will it also cannibalize its own cousin, the Sunny? The answer to that is a very likely yes. However, with the success Renault has had with the Duster, many may now opt for the Renault badge in this segment as well.
The 2012 edition of the Mahindra AQ has kicked off, and I can tell you the excitement is now picking up the pace. We are of course going all over the country with our zonal rounds to find our finalists for the main studio rounds that you actually will see on television in just a short time from now right here on the NDTV network. I am right now at the Narsi Monjee Institute of Management Studies in Mumbai for one of those zonal city rounds, and we're going to pick one of those finalists who will of course be joining us later on. So it's going to be pretty hard fought. I'm told that there's a lot of people who have showed up here. Intense competition. Let's get straight into it.
The action is intense and the drama omnipresent when it comes to the AQ. The annual automobile quiz has now gained not just acceptance, but also has a tremendous following on college campuses. This is obvious everywhere the AQ goes. As soon as we set foot into the campus, be it the B-schoolers at Mumbai's prestigious Narsi Munji Institute of Management Studies or the budding engineers at the Delhi Technology University, the number of aspirants who registered and the standard of participation was very admirable indeed. Participants need to form pairs, which is then their team in the competition. They then answer a written test, and the top 6 teams with most correct answers steps up to compete in the regional round. Siddharth played quizmaster at a few of our 40 locations nationwide, and it's been fun, hectic, fast-paced and very competitive. There are 6 rounds to get through, everything from direct questions to audio-visual clues.
The Camry is Toyota's second highest selling model worldwide after the Corolla. It sells in 110 countries. We first saw this car at the Auto Expo and now it's here, ready for launch. The 7th generation of the Toyota Camry. What's different this time from Toyota is the global strategy for this new 7th generation.
Multiple choice answers.
Team XUV, all set? Your question. Imported from Detroit. That's the slogan or the tagline for which auto brand? The choices: All-American, first one, Ford, second, Chrysler, and the third choice, General Motors, GM. Chrysler, question mark? Right answer, 20 points.
Last year.
And of course, the dreaded yet high-scoring buzzer round.
Car is traditionally...
And finally, a champion emerges, sometimes a winner by a clear margin, sometimes intensely hard-fought and very close.
And Bolero, of course, will now go through to that studio round to represent the West Zone. So you've got to support them.
We had done a bit of preparation for this, so we are quite confident of doing well in this. So it's a great feeling, and we wish to continue the preparation for the next rounds.
The Mahindra AQ saw just under 17,000 participants in the 2011 edition. This year, we're just about halfway through our city rounds, and we've already crossed 20,000 participants. Yes, the AQ is growing, and the juggernaut is rolling into a college campus near you. If you still want to participate, you can check out the remaining schedule on the CNB or AQ Facebook page. It is just engineering and business school students this year, but we are looking to expand the scope of the competition in next year's edition.
So it was a hard-fought race to the finish. This particular round has been pretty exciting, and that's pretty much how it's been all over the country, because what you're seeing is a lot more enthusiasm and the level of participation has gone up, which is great news for us. And we're just about halfway through the city round, so we're still going to come into cities closer to you, and I might surprise you by dropping in as well. So keep the participation going. There are lots of centers. You can, of course, go through what center is close to you and go ahead and participate on our Facebook page as well. Now, let's quickly just have a word with the guys who won this round here in Delhi. Both of you, Sushant, Utsav, firstly, congrats from CNB as well. And pretty hard fought, but you seem to have like a good grip on this right through. So how do you prepare?
Yes, absolutely. We have a genuine interest in this field, and we are automotive fanatics.
We actually have won previous year held final qualifiers here, and then we again come and this time we win.
All right, so that's even better. That means you had that enthusiasm, you came back once again. One quick point, what's going to be the strategy to take on the teams? Because they're going to be strong teams in the studio rounds.
We don't know yet, we're just happy we made it.
We can't believe this.
We'll be prepared. They should be scared of us.
They should be scared of them, all right. That's the spirit. I think that's just what we're looking for. And again, congrats. I will see you in the studio, in the NDTV studios very soon. So all the very best for that. Good luck with your preparation, and of course, may the best team win, right? So see you guys then. Congrats. And remember, they're playing for a whole lot here, because it's not just this regional round. Eventually, the grand finale always leads to the winning team heading to the Geneva Motor Show. So plenty of excitement here at different college campuses. Tell us what you thought of what you've seen on today's program. Plenty to react to as well. You know how to get in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, NDTV Social. I will see you next week, and as always, please wear your seatbelts, please wear your helmets, please don't use your cell phones when you're driving. Bye-bye.
India's #1 news app. Just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for Retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.